Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is August the 19th, 2026, Wednesday. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Friday, August 21st, 2026. Had to fix my mic from yesterday. We're getting kind of an echo, but like I said, we're in the beginning of these live streams. So these first 100 or so videos, we're gonna have some good times getting it right. So this morning, um, I have my levels marked out. Looks like we got some movement to the upside. I have my ADM highs and my ADM lows. Um, we were above that gamma flip, meaning that we were looking at some more stabilizing, mean reverting, looking at some possible reversals after that sweep. Still maybe looking into that possibility. We're kind of going deep into our 15-minute fair value gap here. Let's just check. So we have a 1 hour FEG there. Let's see a 4 hour. So we got about 40 minutes left to the new 4 hour candle, possibly creating an efficiency here. We have our London lows there. So be as it may, we're still well within our strategy protocol. I'm going to mark out our daily FEG here. I believe that may be a major draw in liquidity for the day. We didn't tap that FEG yesterday. So we could very possibly head towards that today as a possible draw on liquidity. We also have prior day highs from yesterday. So I will put that there and I will make it so that we can see it on those lower time frames. There we go. So 1 second. Let's get back in there. Let me get back in there. We have a daily fair value gap in there. That still could be meaningful. Let's check this weekly. Now we have the weekly. So we're tapping into that weekly. Tapping into that weekly FEG. Could possibly hit that consummate encroachment, which I have our GEX level put wall there. Starting to reject now. Starting to pull up. So we have some objectives down there. We have the New York Open, New York Midnight Open, London lows. So being as though we've swept those 8 a.m. lows, we still have some levels that we could possibly aim for on the downside, which, the London lows, as well as New York Midnight Open, Asia low. Let me see where we closed at on yesterday's session. So this was settlement price for yesterday. This was yesterday's settlement price. So depending on where we open, we have that at New Day gap fill as well. So possibly being, depending on how we open, we may possibly be looking at some lower prices at the open. Possibly maybe looking into getting into some shorts if we invert this 15-minute FEG here, I'd be interested in possibly getting into a short at the open. We did invert this fair value, this 15-minute up here. Looks like we'll create a new one here off of these expansion candles to the downside. So be as it may, if we got about a little bit under 7 minutes left on this 15-minute candle, which will form at the open. If we inverse this 15-minute candle, come back and retest it with a possible rejection, we could possibly be looking into getting into some shorts at the open, targeting those London lows, the New York midnight open. We have yesterday's settlement, and we also have Asia lows and those prior day lows, and of course that put wall down there. So although we have been seeing some upward movement, let's see, we are below gamma, so we're looking at now more amplified movement and continuation of the trend. So this week we have been trending downward. We did get a pullback move. We've been trending down. We did get some movement overnight to the upside. We are this is that inner interior, and so let me see where we are as far as premium discount. So right now we've just gotten into the discount area. After we came down, you see we pulled back right into that OTE area. You can see where I put my OTE area, that 079, 062, that darker green. We pulled back into that, and now we're pushing down. So to me, it looks like shorts would be the higher probability. So for me, I'm looking to see at the open an inversion of that 15 minutes. So right now, our environment, we're in a negative GEX environment, which promotes amplified and more amplified movement like we've seen here. More amplified movement and a continuation of the trend, which we were in a downward trend. We are currently we're looking at the premium just crossed that 50% of the negative of discount. So we're in sort of a discount just before open. Got about 4 minutes until the open. Liquidity, we've swept those 8 a.m. lows. We're tapped into our higher time frame PD arrays. We have a 1 hour here. You can barely see it, but it's a small one. We have this gap. Between this gap and this gap, it was a bullish FEG that hasn't been inversed. So we tend to inverse that. I just put it there for a visual. But the one I'm looking at is this 15-minute. We got about a little bit more than 2 minutes left on this 15-minute FEG. So if we get an inversion of this 15-minute and we push back, that would push us, and we get a pullback pushing us back into premium, and then a rejection maybe off this 1 hour FEG. I'd be looking to get into some shorts. Looks like we're going to get a push to the upside just at the open. If that's the case, then we validated this 15-minute FEG. We're looking at a tap into a higher time frame PD array after a sweep of the 8 a.m. lows, and then we're getting into this bearish 15-minute FEG. We have a 5-minute here. So what I'd be looking at is an inversion of some type of 1 minute. We are inverting some fair value gaps on the one. So as we get into the open, we may be looking into getting into some longs here. Let's see. We're starting to invert. We've inverted this 1 minute FEG here. We have 5 minute. We have a 5 minute here. So let's see if we invert this 5 minute. Got about 30 seconds left until the open. We swept those 8 a.m. lows, tapped into a higher time frame PD array, rejection. Now we're looking to invert fair value gap. We have a 5 minute here. And we have this 5 minute here. Let's see if it inverts. It looks like it will. And we may be looking to get into some longs. So look at the pullback. Let's see at the open. We're pushing down. Starting to reject here on this 1 minute FEG. Let's see if we can create some fair value gaps on the way down here. And then a possible inversion on the way back up. We've already swept our 8 a.m. lows, tapped into a higher time frame PD arrays, being that 15-minute fair value gap. It did not invert that 15-minute fair value gap pre-market. We have a 5 minute here as well. This 5 minute kind of inverted to the upside, but we're going to get rid of that. That's not anything there. So we may see, we also are looking at our new day opening gap. We opened here. So we have our new day opening gap there. So let's see, we get half gap. Half gap is here, constant encroachment. I marked it out there. So let's see if we get a sweep of these London lows. I'm looking for the higher probability trade. It would be easy to FOMO into a short at this moment, but being as though we swept those 8 a.m. lows, now looking maybe to sweep a key level. We did tap into that 15-minute fair value gap. We got about 13 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. Don't know if it will close below for an inversion. If we do, we are looking for lower prices below that gamma 0. I'd be looking for a inversion of this 15-minute fair value gap, a possible pullback and retest, and then look for further lows here. Since we have so much time left in this 15-minute candle, possibly looking for a sweep of these London lows with key level and a support of this half gap, maybe a tap into the New York midnight open. So let's go to the 5 minute. That's a big 5 minute candle there. We have our 1 minute FEG here to the upside. If we're looking to get, that would be our first presented fair value gap. That'll be our first presented fair value gap there. So now I'm just looking forward to see some type of rejection. We approached that half gap, swept those London lows. So we swept 8 a.m., hit a key level. We're at half gap, starting to slow up here. We have midnight open. Price may tap to midnight open, but right now what we're looking for is some type of reversal indication before jumping into some longs. Starting to see some resistance at the half gap there. So we have a 1 minute here. Looking to see if we get an inversion of that 1 minute. Possibly building up on a 2 minute here. I want to see an inversion of that 1 minute, and we may jump right into a long on that one. Something slight, maybe 1 or 2 micros to build a position. Really starting to push down, starting to see some more down price. We do have that New York midnight open there, and that yesterday's settlement for new day opening gap. So we did break past midnight open. So this is a nice manipulation leg to the downside. However, if we were to get into any shorts, I'd like to see some sort of pullback and a rejection to show that we're going to continue in that bearish direction. Now we are below all of our simple moving averages. We are starting to push lower. At this point, I really don't want to jump into any sort of a play here. If anything, I'll wait till this 15-minute closes and see if we get some type of pullback, and then maybe a continuation to the downside. But to jump into this without any confirmation at the open, it would just been too risky for me. So we're tapping into that OTE area for a possible reversal. We're in discount on the 15 minute with this arm here from this low to this high. So you can see a rejection as we get into that OTE area. Yesterday's settlement price, 29,281. If we continue to flush to close that, maybe tap into Asia lows at that 275. So we are starting to see a bit of a consolidation there as we are below that New York Open just before we get to yesterday's settlement. So we get a pullback there. So let's see if we can get some inversions or we start to see some rejections for a continuation to the downside. So we're starting to see some push to the upside here. Not a lot of volume coming in, not a lot of strength. A little bit of indecision. No real gaps until we get up into this area. We have a 1 minute here. As we get into that OTE area. No, so we got about 2 minutes left on this 15-minute candle. See if we invert. So let's wait till a close of this 15-minute. See what type of see if we get a pullback, maybe into our first presented fair value gap, and then see what type of reaction we get. If we're gonna get if we're gonna get some type of pullback to the upside here and rejection with a continuation to the downside. Maybe finish out the close of the new day opening gap, Asia lows, and prior day lows. Or let's see if we can start to inverse some of these FEGs and continue on to the upside. It looks like it wants to push down, maybe close that gap. Is it going to shoot for that gap fill? Got about a minute and a half until we close this 15-minute. So on the close of that 15-minute candle, seeing a slight push down and a push up. So let's see if we start to get any inversions. We have a 5-minute here that I'd like to see inverted. If we're going to go higher or if we're going to reject. So starting to see a little bit of rejection off of that midnight open. We're coming up on our 200 simple moving average. So a break above that and maybe into this constant encroachment of this 5-minute would show us more bullish movement. But right now it's looking like a small pullback, and it may want to continue down. So we are in the discount portion of this small range here. So what I like to do here is I want to line it up with the bigger Okay, so we're seeing some rejection off of that New York open, maybe a continuation to the downside. Maybe want to tap, close that gap, and hit into Asia lows. See on the 1 minute, we see consolidation here. This is our 1 minute fair value gap. So we could see it build up this interior liquidity here, sweep to the upside, and then a rejection. I'd get into a short if we reject it from here. If it's seen something like this, I'd be interested in a short. Maybe to hit those, to hit Asia, and maybe even further. Other than that, I'm looking for an expansion to the upside, inversion, and let's go. That's what we're looking for. So the draw on liquidity is the close of the new day opening gap and Asia lows here. So on our GEX level, we have our put wall here at 29,000. Call wall up here at the 29,500. So we're looking to get into this 950 macro. So let's see where we're going. Let's see if we can get some direction from this 950 macro. So it's continuing to hang around that midnight open, consolidating around that area. So either way, we're looking for a push to the upside, maybe get into consummate encroachment of this 1 minute FEG, and then a rejection, maybe a push to the downside. We also have a 5 minute inefficiency there. So we have some inefficiencies there. I want to see it really sweep up there and a rejection to get into some lows. Other than that, we could just be seeing further manipulation to the downside, tag these areas before we start to head higher. But in order to get into a short, I want to be in, we inverse this 15 minute fair value gap. Here, we have a 15 minute here. We inverse this 15 minute here. So ideally, we got about 7 minutes left before we get a new gap here. Looks like we will tap into our new day opening gap and Asia lows. So the reason why I haven't taken a short is because I just haven't. We got a rejection off of the New York Open, but I kind of wanted to see some sort of tap into a PD array, premium PD array, and a rejection before, and showing me some more confluence that we're going to be heading to the downside. Although we opened and we've pretty much been going down. So we have this 1 minute FEG here. We're starting to pull back into. Looks like it wants to continue down. So we barely left Asia open. So I don't want to take a short this far down in the leg. We got about 6 minutes left until the new hourly candle opens. So let's see what the open of this new hourly candle tells us. So after we closed that new day opening gap and swept those Asia lows, started to see a little bit of a rejection there. Let's see what ES is looking like. So ES failed to sweep those lows. So we do have Asia and London. So if we open at this new hourly candle, and we could be looking at a bullish SMT here, where we fail to see ES sweep those lows, where NQ did. So prior to 10 a.m., starting to see a small push to the upside. You see this indecision candle on this 15 minute. Got about a little less than 2.5 minutes left on this new hourly candle. So I'll mark out this 15-minute inefficiency here. Let's see. So let's see if we got about a minute left on this new hourly candle. If we can get a push to the upside, sweep these engineered highs here, and continue down to the prior day lows and into that put wall. All right, we're at that 10 a.m. So let's see if we can get a rally to the upside. I want to see a rejection off of that 15-minute fair value gap and then a push to the downside. If it doesn't continue up and start to inverse. So we're just waiting to see where price wants to take us. So we have this 1 minute FEG here. See if we start to get up. We're starting to reject from there. So we may take our short from that rejection point there. I just don't want to front run it too much. And the hourly candle created a top wick, starting to push down. See a little bit of hesitation, even going to the downside. So we're looking for that push to the downside. We jump into a short here. Looks like it wants to take us up. So we could be ready to sweep this interior liquidity there before heading further to the downside. So we've seen some rejection off of that 1 minute fair value gap that we have there. We got a new 1 minute candle. It closed below constant encroachment of that 1 minute. So let's see if it'll continue to deliver us down. We're 6 minutes in to this new hour, and it looks like it may be trying to deliver to the upside. Let's see. So far, respecting that 1 minute fair value gap, closing below, inside. You have a fair value gap here. Was left behind on the way up. So an inversion back to the downside would be good indication of some bearish momentum. It's coming back, retesting that 10 o'clock. So if we get a break below here, that would have been a lower high. That would give us more confirmation into some shorts. Continuing to respect this 1 minute fair value gap here. Closing below consummate encroachment. Got about 1 minute left into that 10-10. So we got a 1 minute order block there. That's kind of coming down to retesting. So we want to see a break below this 1 minute fair value gap and a close. Starting to see some rejection there. And a break below that rejection area and a close, a body close below that fair value gap. They jump into some shorts there. So if we get a body close above this area here, maybe looking into some potential longs. Looks like we're starting to push lower. I just want to see a body close below that. We got that 10-10. So we're going to deliver lower. It needs to do it now. About 30 seconds. About 10 seconds. See if we close below that 10 o'clock open, that 1 minute fair value gap there. So I tapped this in there. Starting to deliver to the downside. So we can get that full push to the downside there. Starting to get some real good movement to the downside in that short. So our target would be prior day lows, getting into those prior day lows for our draw and liquidity there. It should be about that 29,198 area. So I know I have my target here, but that was just a standard 3-to-1 But in this market, I'm looking to see if we can get a nice 1-to-1 and close this trade on a positive note. Coming back up, we did leave a gap on the way down, retesting that gap. Now we're starting to push back up, retesting that gap area, see if we can get some rejection off of that gap and deliver us down into those prior day lows. We're in one contract just on this paper trade here. I took a short scalp on my Lucid account just because it's the probability is not a high probability trade. So we took a short scalp here, kind of got in here, got out here, put it in that amp my risk up. Usually I go in at 5, took it in at 10. We're up about 242. I was in a long. I preemptively took a long there, so we would have been up a lot more, but we had to dig ourselves out. So be as it may, we're up 242 on our Lucid. Still in the short on our trading view forward testing account. We can just call it that. Yesterday we were in a trade. I don't know if anyone was keeping up, but we stayed in the short, and it ended up hitting full TP. Took a while. It was a lot of consolidation. I don't know if we can go back that far. So we were here, a lot of consolidation here. We ended up getting in a trade at around that 954 mark. So we got in around here, had my stop loss here, and we just chopped. Then it finally started to deliver down and hit full TP just before noon. So it was about a good 2 hours, but we held it in. So then we started to see some upward movement overnight, and now we're getting back down into that area, maybe starting to see the same scenario, but just a little bit more of a bearish trend here. So we are Capital Preservation Friday, so I do want to see if I can get back into a nice short on my Lucid account. Maybe if we can get a full delivery to those lows. But we'll see. We are starting to get that push, so I want to see a full delivery to the downside. Sweep these lows here. So I'm kind of off on my lows there. Here we go. So let's see if we're going to hit those previous day lows there. 29,203. Let's see if we can get our full TP here at those prior day lows. Let's get that push. Let's get that push. Starting to see a little resistance there just before we get to those prior day lows. And we're starting to get a pullback. Hard to see if we'll just leave those lows open. So at this point, we're just waiting to see what price wants to do here. Let's look at this hourly. See a rejection. That was an area of rejection prior. We did push lower. But let's see if we can get to those lows, or will the bulls continue to defend that area? So that was a healthy pullback. Let me get this out of the way here. Let's see, we got this little small 5-minute gap here. So are we seeing price with that pullback? I'd like to see it push down, tag those prior day lows. So we're getting some pushback on the NASDAQ. Looking to see how far of a pushback they're going to give us before maybe a continuation to the downside, aiming at these prior day lows. So we're starting to see some structure being broken and pushed to the upside. Not looking good for the bears. Getting that push, it's pushing. It's gonna fall. It needs to fall now. Not go past this area here. Don't want to see it go past there. So we're going to be patient. See if we can't wait price out. See if it wants to sweep those prior day lows. That's a big draw on liquidity. We're getting quite of a push to the upside. Maybe trying to trap some longs in. Without people are trying to bottom tick and call that bottom. No doubt, a lot of traders went long when it failed to tap that prior day low and started to push higher. So we're going to be patient and see if we can't adhere to our original analysis here and tap that prior day low to hit our TP. So it's respecting that 5-minute fair value gap there. I wicked above it, but we closed below. So let's see if that's enough to get us going to the downside and sweep those early buyers, tap that prior day low as we get closer to that put wall. We are below gamma 0, which is indicating amplified moves, but a lot of instability. So that's where we're starting to see a lot of these upper wicks. See some down movement, push up, then right back down, up, right back down. That's characteristic of being below that gamma wall, that gamma flip area. Pre-market, we were above. We were anticipating more consistent movement to the upside, but as price fell below that gamma zero area and formed some bearish structure, that's when we started to see those more amplified moves to the downside, playing into this week's trend, which was bearish. It's been bearish all week. In fact, we created our new week opening gap way up top and failed to even get back up there at any point. This is our new week opening gap, and we didn't even get back up there. That was created on Monday. So we've been bearish on being below that gamma zero, looking at those more amplified moves and a continuation of that bearish trend to the downside. So we're just being patient here. Really nothing to do. See if we can't get a delivery to the downside. If we go down to the 1 minute, we can see it kind of hanging out above that 20 moving average. I want to see it push down below. We're below VWAP and below the 200 moving average. Typically, we don't like to get too far away. This 200 and this 20 too far away from each other. It's not that far away. Certainly not too far where we can't go down and hit these lows. But we want to see a break below here. It was still playing around, right around that area, right around that our entry area there, between that 10 o'clock open at that 305, 276 area. It's kind of just hanging out around there. We see those nice top wicks, which shows some resistance. Let's see if we can break down below these areas and go ahead and tap into our prior day low. It did this yesterday. It kind of wicked around. Did it for a long time. Wicked around. Fortunately, our stop loss placement was good, and it ended up hitting our full TP around about 2 hours after about 2 hours into the trade. So with this delivery to the downside, it's not by any means a smooth price action. Characteristic of being below that gamma flip, that negative gamma, that negative gex environment that we're in. But we've satisfied all of our strategies checkbox. We've checked all those boxes. We've swept liquidity. We've rejected from premium PD arrays. We have our confirmation with inversion of 15-minute fair value gap at the beginning of our opening here. So we had this 15-minute fair value gap that we were looking at. It closed below, well below, came back down, reversed, rejected off of this 15-minute, and we just continued to see the same scenario here. It kind of left this low here. So we're looking, and these are relative equal lows along with a prior day low. So we've seen this rejection here. You can see this bottom wick on the 15. So no doubt there's a lot of early buyers that's got their stop loss here. And we're talking about institutional players here. So they're in no rush. They need to build this liquidity eventually if they want to go long. So they got to build these buyers in here. So the more that they hang around and the more that they manipulate to the upside, drive price up, they'll have more players coming in, stepping in with their stop losses below these areas. And then, you know, for our best case scenario, we'd hope that these big market movers will push price down by starting to sell into their positions and then get into this liquidity area and ultimately drive price up to their target, which we have a call wall here. So let's see. But we also have this put wall way down here. So if we sweep these prior day lows, sweeping these prior day lows, we could see delivery all the way down to this put wall or even below. Yesterday it went well below that put wall, fulfilling those orders. It's Friday, so no doubt those puts, they want to take profit on those puts. So hopefully that scenario plays out in our favor. This week we've implemented those GEX levels. It's been helpful knowing what environment we're in, knowing what we're walking into. So yeah, as of now, we're looking at those prior day lows, and which is also relative equal lows. Major draw on liquidity. Not going to let it shake us. Not going to let it shake us out of this trade. Looking for those institutional market movers to push price down and snap up that liquidity, trigger those stop losses. We've got about 10 minutes until we hit that 1050 macro, which could be the could be the call that we need that's gonna deliver us to the downside. Hopefully before then. Hopefully pre 1050 will sweep that area because they want to deliver to the upside. That would be best case scenario. Or if their intentions is to deliver fully to the downside, closer to that put wall. So it all depends on what those market makers, what their intentions are. If they want to deliver to the upside, I'd say they're going to sweep that low before that macro time frame, grab up some liquidity, and then continue to the upside. If their intention is to push price even further down, we may see a slight spike and then a push to the downside around that 1050 macro time frame. So So we're heading into that 1050 macro. Starting to see that push to the upside, which may be an indication that they want to deliver price further to the downside at that macro time frame. Just hopefully they don't push it too far up before 1050. We want to see that delivery to the downside. About 20 seconds left to this new 15-minute candle. So we're seeing some rejection here at this 10 o'clock open area, as we have for some time now. And we want to start to see some delivery to the downside. We got about 4 minutes left to that macro, that 1050 macro. We're looking for a dump. Now we don't want to see it go too much farther up. Definitely not past that. This is our area here. We inverted this small 5-minute. Not real significant, but that would have just been extra confluence to the downside. If we can hold out another 3 minutes, I believe we'll get that delivery to the downside. Got a nice fat bazooka candle to the downside. Nice rejection at the top there. Nice top wick on this 5-minute candle. Got about 2 minutes left into this 5-minute candle. And rejection off of this 20 simple moving average. Let's get below this 8 and get that 1050 to push us to the downside where we need to be. My computer kind of froze up on me there. Less than 30 seconds left before we hit that 1050 macro. I want to see some expansion to the downside. Let's see if we can get some expansion. So we're here at that 1050 macro, just at the beginning here. Let's see if we can start to get some indications that we want to deliver to the downside. So we're getting some accumulation here. So this would be a good sell model as we come here down. Retest of this fair value gap. Got a accumulation, downside, accumulation, and then we get this push down at the 1050. That would be our ideal scenario. So let's just be patient and see if that's what we can get here. You can see we were almost there. Just looking for a small 1-to-1. Just left us open on that prior day low. So let's see if we're going to go down and get that, and then before shooting back up. Starting to see a little bit of push to the downside. I want to see a little bit more speed, a little bit more volume coming in. So I want to see price break this low here. Still continue to manipulate. That's not what we want to see. Don't want to see that. Don't want to see that. A slight manipulation to the upside. Let's get that push down. It's an accumulation. If we go into 1 minute, you can see it a little bit better. We're accumulating here, but we don't want to see nothing up past this area here. Really don't want to see that. We're respecting consummate encroachment, which is good. Haven't traded above consummate encroachment of this inversion. So we got about 6 minutes left into the new hour. Really, now we're starting to see some push. But will it be enough to take us down to our lows? So we wick below these lows here. See if we can get a body closure. And shift the structure. We have, after consolidation here, we got to push down. Yeah, this price action is not giving us any type of uh, commitment to either side. But if we could just get that full delivery to the downside, we got about 4 minutes to that new hour. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get those lows tapped. There we go. It's no good. It looks like price may want to go to the upside here and just leave those lows hanging. Looks like ES is pushing to the upside there. NQ wants to go to the down. If we could get ES to follow suit, maybe we could get that delivery to the downside, but that seems to be what's holding us up here. We're still respecting this area, but seems like ES is holding us up from getting that flush that we're looking for. But while prices fiddle-faddling around here, I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream as we approach that 11 o'clock hour. We'll just wait and see what that new hourly brings us. Looks like we may be trying to deliver to the upside. But that's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the stream here and wish everybody a happy rest of the day trading. I'm not going to sit here and watch this price just push us around. But make sure to check back within us next week, and let's see where the new week takes us. So thanks for checking us out, and happy trading.